Good afternoon and welcome to Granny's Legacy Patterns. Katie here in the studio today, and I am going to be talking a little bit and demoing Kim's signature knot called the Legacy knot. This is a knot that works great when you're wanting to make just a bigger dot, like a colonial knot that's a little bit beefier or something like that. So it's a real simple, fun knot, and let me get started. So today I'm going to be using 2 strands of size 12 pearl cotton. And for videoing purposes, I've chose to use this beautiful lemony yellow. So I am threading my needle, and I'm using a size 7 embroidery needle. And the reason I'm using a size 7 embroidery needle is because the eye of the needle is the same diameter as the shaft. So since the basis of this knot is a colonial knot, where we are wrapping a thread around the needle, we need to make sure that those wraps can also get off the needle. And if you use a needle with too big of an eye, those wraps will need to stretch a little bit or loosen up, which distorts your knot, in order to get off the needle. So by using an embroidery needle, or also a straw or milliner's needle works great as well. That will allow us to have a beautiful even knot. So I'm going to start by just knotting my needle. And I just do a quick quilter's knot, and then I'm just going to yank my thread a little bit to make sure that both, I'm using 2 strands, so both strands are even and working together, and one's not longer than the other or looser. So this knot, the Legacy knot, starts with a colonial knot. So I came up from the bottom, and then I make parallel lines with my needle and my thread. I cross over, so cross over, under, and twist, and then I brought it back to make kind of a cross or a plus sign. And what that does is it puts a backward wrap on your needle. And once I have that, I'll demonstrate it one more time. Parallel, cross over, and twist, make a plus sign. And now I'm going to put 2 wraps on. 2 wraps seem to be the happy number for colonial knots. If you do any more, it doesn't build a bigger knot, it just builds a taller knot. So instead of giving, our initial instinct if we want a big colonial knot would just be to wrap it a bunch of times. But really it's just adding height to your knot, and it's not making it broader. So 2 wraps seem to be a happy number. And then I'm going to go back down right next to where I came up, and then pull through. And so by using 2 strands of pearl cotton, I've made a pretty large size colonial knot. And you can do this with 1 strand as well. It's kind of a cool knot to do with 1 strand. It'll just be a little bit smaller. And then I'm going to try to do this backwards, so when you're looking at it, it's how it will stitch. So then you come up right at the edge of your knot. So you don't want to be too close to it and not too far away. Just kind of just outside where the knot comes out. And then come up, and we're going to stitch a lazy daisy stitch swooping around this colonial knot. So I came up, swooped around, and then I'm going to go back just in my...
Twist just a hair so we can see where you're going in.
There you go. I'm going to go in I'm going to look quick, and then I'll bring it back. Just inside of where I came up. Oh, no, it slipped. There you go. And then come up. Since it's a lazy daisy, I'm going to come up just on the other side of my knot and just kind of swoop that knot a little bit. And now I put a lazy daisy around a colonial knot. And I'm going to go back down to lock that lazy daisy. Oh, I caught it. Hang on. Oh no. Sorry, my thread knotted. There we go. And now we have a lazy daisy stitched around a colonial knot. And that is what we call a legacy knot. There's one thing you could do if you wanted to make it a little bolder even yet. You could stitch a second lazy daisy. I'll just show that quick here before we finish. And then that'll add just a little bit more thickness. And this would be fun for bird's eyes. You could do kind of a black colonial knot in the middle with red around the outside, or you could be very creative. So Thank you for joining us here today. We're happy to show you the Legacy knot.